Speaking of the Browns Bowl, this came up quasi in conversation about 3 weeks ago. I've been saving this to bring it back. But if you look at the Cavs sack totals in 2023. The Browns sack total in 2023. Which player on the Browns do you believe has the best opportunity to increase the sack total, and by how much? So which Browns player will increase their sack total from 2023 to 2024 the most?
I'm going to go off the board here a little bit and go with Alex Wright. What did he finish with last year? 5, right?
Yeah, that was my pick. Great choice, Bo.
He had 5. You look at all the other guys here. JOK is a linebacker, had a great year. He's not going to get a ton of sacks. Ogbo, he could go up. Za'Darius Smith has what did Za'Darius finish with?
5.5.
So he's had 5.5 sacks in like his last 20-something games. So and he's old, so I don't expect his numbers to go up. Myles Garrett had 1 million sacks already. I mean, how much higher could he go up? Alex Wright, I think, has the most upside of any of the guys on the Browns defensive line because most of their other leading contributors are older guys. Alex Wright came on at the end of last year, and if you tell me who's the most likely guy to get double-digit sacks this year, besides Myles Garrett, of course, I'm going to tell you Alex Wright because I loved how he played at the end of last season, and he's young and he's getting better. Their other defensive linemen outside of Ogbo are older guys. They're not getting better. They're either staying the same or getting worse. And I think he's really going to get an opportunity. If he performs as well early in the season this year as he did late in the season last year, he'll get a lot of reps. And I think he's going to I think he could get 10 sacks this year, which would double his number. So I'm going Alex Wright.
Can I throw you a curve?
Yeah.
Myles Garrett.
That is a curve. What did he finish with?
14.
14.
That's not. If he can get more than that.
You know what? I was thinking he had more than that. In my mind, he had 18.
No, he had 14.
Because he was on pace and then he crapped the bed.
He had 16 in back-to-back seasons prior to last year. We've talked at length on the show about how he tends to fade in the second half of seasons. He did have the shoulder.
Should he have really been the defensive player of the year? I'm just going to piss people off.
I don't have the bandwidth for that right now.
I just don't know how you don't play well in December and you win Defensive Player of the Year. But anyway, I love Myles Garrett, so let it go.
But with 14 sacks, he can do better than 14 sacks. And with the shoulder injury that he had, we don't know how much it limited him over the last month or so of the season, or however many weeks it was. 14 is because at first, I was actually thinking JOK at first.
Yeah.
And then I kind of looked at the totals. I'm like, 14, that's not that many for Myles. It's obviously a lot.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about Myles, he can do better than that. Give me Myles Garrett.
I mean, he can get 18, 19, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Bull, you picked out, and Tyvis, you go in a second, but Bull picks Alex Wright to go 5 to 10 for the same jump. It's 14 to 19. That's not out of the question.
No, it's not. I don't know why in my mind I was thinking he had more, but.
Tyvis, what's your answer
to this? Stolen.
No. Sione Ika?
Hey, all he needs is one.
Tommy Togiai.
No,
all he needs is a half.
Your answer,
a quarter.
Your answer is a cop-out.
No, it's not.
I like your answer.
How is that a cop-out?
It's a cop-out
The man asked the question, who's going to go up?
That he's not even in the conversation. Like, it's we talking about, it's Myles and the Pips. We talking about the Pips right
Myles
now.
and the Pips.
We ain't talking about Myles.
That was not specified in the question.
Well, you should have known.
No, Myles Garrett, that's a fine answer.
Thank you.
That is legal, yes.
By the way, speaking of, did you see the first Equalizer movie with Denzel?
Yes.
Remember when those two teenagers that work at the store, and he's like, "What did you do before you worked here?" And he goes, "I was one of the Pips." You don't remember that?
Yeah.
And then they start looking at Soul Train videos. Is that him? Anyway, go ahead, Tom.
He did do that. That's funny. Yeah. I'm going with Ogbo. Ogbo because, like I said, he missed some games last year and he had 4.5 sacks. Just off of that alone, I think that he will increase his sack numbers. I think he's a really good pass rusher, and he's a guy that really only comes in on obvious passing downs, which means that he can pin his ears back. The difference between him and Alex Wright is Alex Wright being on other type of downs where he has to play the run first, where Ogbo, they're not really asking him to play the run. They're telling him to get after the quarterback, and that's what he's going to be in there doing. So I think that with that being the case, I think his pass rush moves is really good. I think they're very effective, and I think that he'll get, what do you have, 4.5? 5.5? What did he have?
5.5. He had 4.5, but he missed.
Yeah,
the last
so
four games
I just think easily he'll get 5 easily because he did that even when he missed games, and I think he's a premier passer.
So how many do you think he's going to get this year?
He going to get more than 4.5. That was the question.
No, but you said the most.
Yeah, it's not who's going to have more sacks. It's who's going to increase their total the most.
Who's going to increase
him? I think it's him.
Okay.
Well, going from 4.5 to 5 is not. You don't think anyone's going to have more than half a sack?
I think that he'll get. I think that he'll get 8 to 9, something like 9
so
sacks.
Right in that same range.
9 sacks.
Can I make the case for JOK real quick?
He ain't getting 7.
I don't think it's the right answer. But can I just make the case for JOK?
Go ahead.
They signed Jordan Hicks. We saw after him being, and by him I mean JOK, being a non-factor in the pass rush in 2022 under Joe Woods, Jim Schwartz, towards the end of the season, and especially that Jacksonville game, and against Chicago as well, started utilizing JOK as the extra free rusher. And there was the one play that Tyvis broke down for us against Denver in Week 12, where it was a play-action rollout. Russell Wilson didn't see it coming, Tyvis. And remember, he jumped the gap thinking it was a run play, ended up with the sack.
Yes.
I could see that happening more than just twice next season, on top of him getting a couple extra opportunities as a pass rusher in blitzing situations. He had 3.5 sacks. I expect all those numbers you see on the screen to go up next year. I don't think it's crazy for JOK to have 7-8 sacks next year. I don't think it's crazy.
I don't think it is either. That was my initial.
Yeah, I think that's pushing it a little bit.
I mean, I don't know about higher than 3.5.
Yeah.
But
well, that's not the biggest jump.
Well, that's why I said I'm not.
Well, it could be. It's not necessarily. Just because we're predicting guys to get 5 more or 4 more doesn't mean that anybody's going to get that many more.
That's true. And who's going? The question is, who signs their extension first, him or Kevin Stefanski?
I would assume Kevin Stefanski.
You would
who
think.
knows?
We still waiting.
Kevin. It'll be Kevin.
We're still waiting on that.
Looking at your watch, yeah, we still waiting.
Yeah, May 28th.
I asked
March
the
it was
YouTube
imminent.
chat, by the way, the exact same question. Which Brown will increase his sack total the most? The number one answer is pretty split, by the way. No answer is more than 30%. No answer is less than 21%. The chat says a guy we didn't mention, Za'Darius Smith. Well, I guess we mentioned him, Bull, but not in the same capacity.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith.
No offense, chat. You lost.
The chat's voting with 149 votes. 28% Alex Wright, 30% Za'Darius Smith, 20% Myles, 23% Ogbo.
Wait, who was second?
Why would you? How old is Za'Darius Smith?
32, but I'll confirm for you in one second.
What was his percentage? How many people voted for him?
31%. And he's turning 32 this year.
He's turning 32. He only had 5.5 sacks last year, which has been down from every other year.
His best days are behind him.
He's in decline.
Yeah.
He's still a decent player, but he's in decline.
I wouldn't be surprised if he slides down a little bit. He's physical enough to be inside, and he's big enough.
Don't you want to see what Alex Wright and Ogbo have? Like, I want to see those guys play more than the older guys.
Increase his sack numbers.
Ogbo is what he is.
Well, but he missed some games last year, so playing more, maybe he has 7-8 sacks. Like,
I agree with the upside on Alex Wright. I like. I want to see more of him. Za'Darius and Ogbo, I think you know what they are, and that's not bad. Like, that's not
right.
That's when you say that, that's misconstrued.
Right, but Ogbo might have more sacks because he plays more games. He was hurt last year.
Yeah.
Whereas Za'Darius, he's not. I'd be shocked if he had more than 5.5 sacks this year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it. Well, hold on, wait a minute. Let me think about it.
6.
He could get 6. He could get 6.
Trip and fall on him.
Because it was a time where he was there, but he just
But he's 32, and in the last year, remember the second half of the 22 season,
he fell off.
He had like 1 sack the whole second half, and then he had 5.5. So it's 6.5 sacks in his last 24 games.
Ain't the beginning of our year easy? Like the teams we play, ain't it easy teams?
Dallas.
Outside of that,
yeah, I mean, there's some
because it go easy hard, easy hard. Yeah, he might listen. He might look. He can run it up. He can run them numbers up.
Before we move on, I'm going to give you the defensive tackles and their sack numbers from last year. We all went with defensive ends for this.
94.
Right, I mean, yeah, you were 3. Oh my God, I graduated in high school in '94.
Bull, you guys let me know if you think these defensive tackles will have more sacks or less sacks in 2024. So I'll give you their 2023 number.
Or each individual
No, I'm going to just go through each of them individually real quick.
All right, go ahead.
Dalvin Tomlinson had 3 last year.
Weren't they all in one game?
Against Arizona, he took down Clayton Tune 3 times. Will he have more or less?
What's the most he's ever had in a season?
ESPN says in a season his career high in sacks is 3.5, which he did twice in New York.
I'm going to go. I'll say he gets 4 next year. I'll go over.
Who are we talking about?
Dalvin Tomlinson, over under 3 sacks that he had last year. I'm going 4, so I'm over.
Under.
Under. Can't say the same. Got to go over under.
If all three came in one game against a guy who should be in the Arena League, I got to go under.
It probably is under, but I'm going under.
Mo Hurst had 1.5 last year.
Over.
I'll take over.
I'll go over.
Trip and fall on the pile once, twice.
Shelby Harris, 1.5.
Under.
Under, because he's getting older.
Yeah.
And where do you think Mike Hall Jr. ends up at?
3.
I was going to say 2.5.
Is he going to play enough? In a perfect world, he does, which means they push out some of the veterans because he's made a name for himself.
I'll say 3 that fall in the
2.5.
I'll go 2.5 with Jason.
They'll escape up and he'll fall right in his lap.